Well, we got to do a rim-to-rim trip at the Grand Canyon. It's something I've wanted to do for quite some time. A lot of ways to do that. I've had some friends that have done that in a day. They'll start at one side, go to the other. Pretty aggressive day. We decided to do it as a backpacking trip. A couple things that were interesting was mainly the logistics of that. Found that end of May, end of September tends to be about the best time, mostly because of the heat and the cold. Permitting is one of the issues that gets a little bit tough, and that if you're going to camp, you've got to have an overnight permit. To stay down where we did was at what they call Phantom Ranch right there at the Colorado River. Bright Angel Campground is where we stayed, and that permit you've got to obtain, I believe it's about 4 months in advance. Tough permit to get, but we were able to do that through the national park. Got a permit for the end of May, so we were pretty excited about that. Tough again on logistics in that the North Rim per se doesn't even open until May 15th, and then they close October 15th-ish, depending on the weather. So a bit of a challenge there. Our goal was to start at the North Rim, about 8,300 feet at the North Rim, and we were going to car camp that night, meaning we'd camp up at the North Rim, the next morning get up, head down, and then camp at the Colorado River that night. So what we did was we had one person that was actually not going to hike with us go around with the vehicle and then pick us up the next day. A little bit of gear that goes into that. Again, with the weather thing, the hot and the cold, I think the North Rim, when we car camped that night, it got down to about 30 degrees. So the tough thing is getting that logistic of all that gear put together. But not too bad, because you could take more of the cold type gear once you've camped, what we did anyway, camping at the North Rim. Once we were done, the cold gear went in the vehicle takes off, so we just take a smaller pack and then down we go to the bottom of the Grand Canyon there, the Colorado River. About 24, just short of 24 miles total is what we did, and that breaks down to about 14 the first day going down the North Rim, and then about 10 the second day. So again, that elevation change is quite extreme. 8,300 feet on the North Rim. Colorado River sits at about 2,400 feet. So that downhill the first day, you think, oh, that's a piece of cake. No, not so much actually. The downhill tends to pound you pretty good. We had trained quite a bit, mainly just gym time, walk time, even with a pack. That helped quite a bit too, just to have that extra weight. Again, just over 24 miles, but what is some things that are kind of nice there is that some of the logistics on a typical backpack trip, it's often that water that gets to be so challenging too. And so for us on this trip, we found that they actually have water sources along the way, which is really helpful. So you're able to take a pretty light pack, headed down that first day, and we're able to get down there in a pretty good time. Our whole thing on this hike with doing the rim to rim overnight was we were more interested in just a sustainable pace, nothing that was too heavy, so to speak, and it was awesome. We had a great group, had plenty of time for camaraderie and to visit and just enjoy. We did see people that were literally on the run. They were obviously going for a rim to rim in a day, and I've heard people will even do rim to rim to rim. So you've got all sorts of folks down there that are doing different types of ways to get from one rim to the other rim, so to speak, of the Grand Canyon. It's interesting because with that being said, we also saw some people with some massive packs that were obviously going to go for more like a week. So it just depends which way you want to go and which way you want to go do that. It's a tough grind going back uphill. South rim at about 7,000 feet. So you're climbing from 2,400 to 7,000. Time-wise, we had a couple stops. We weren't killing it. We were passing quite a few people, but then again, runners running right by us. So again, it's all over the map as to who and how and when people do this. The biggest problem they have in the park, and there was signage as such, is people will attempt hiking in the Grand Canyon, and what's unique about it is you go downhill first. So you've really got to be careful there. And again, it's posted that they have every year challenges where people get down and they struggle to get back out. Do it. Yeah, it's what a great opportunity. We live in a great area. What's really neat is to just hear different languages, people from different parts of the world. They come from all over to do something like this.